In or out tag is kind of like would you rather, but with books. So, would you rather live under the sea or in space? Or would you rather like or subscribe? See what I did there? Hi everyone, it's Emily from To Read or Heart. Thank you for joining me. Today we'll be doing the in or out tag. I was tagged by the kind and thoughtful Nikki from my Bessie Bookshelf. She is a dear. She treats everyone like a friend. She knows no stranger. If you haven't heard of her, I tagged her channel below or mentioned her channel below if you want to check her out. She's a gem and I really hope you get to know her and support her. So we'll start with one. These are kind of gut instinct reaction or gut reactions answer on a whim. I kind of already looked at I answered these questions when I was watching Nikki's video alongside her, so I kind of have an idea of what I want to say, but I didn't finalize my answers, so there's still a chance something unexpected might come up. The first question, or the first in or out, so am I for it or against it? Reading the last page first. Out. I don't think I could ever do that. Spoil a whole book, potentially, by reading the last page because I'm too impatient. I couldn't do it. Number 2, enemies to lovers. I like enemies to lovers. And they don't necessarily have to be arch rivals either, but I think it is a bit dramatic when, coworkers who don't get along are described as enemies. And I'm still rooting for the relationship, but calling them enemies to lovers, I don't understand. It's still good. I still enjoy it. It's a good trope in. Okay, 3, dream sequences. Out. I don't think I could handle any more confusion in my life. If it's a fantasy type, someone's diving into dreams and they come out on the other side, like as if it's an adventure, sure, maybe. Face value out though, because I get the sense it's more so these series of events that seem really bizarre and unusual, and then the person wakes up and we're going in and out of consciousness and I can't follow along. It sounds unpleasant to me. But if it's a fantasy type thing where you're jumping into dreams and exploring other worlds, maybe in. But as it is, out. All right. Love triangles. In. I know people like to complain about love triangles, but I feel like deep down we all enjoy them so long as our main character ends up with the person that we like. I don't like it when the main character plays both of the other sides of the triangle, though. That's not fair. But if they honestly can't decide and it feels like the other two people are being led on, that can't be helped. But if they're actively pinning each other or pinning the other two people against each other, that's ugly. That's nasty. I don't like that. All right, 5, cracked spines. That's an out. I wouldn't want my poor books to be damaged in such a way, though that won't keep me from reading them. I have a daily devotion, and that thing was bought used. It's seen better days. I don't know if it's so much as cracked anymore as it is barely holding itself together. I read it every day anyway, so it's not a deal breaker, but I wouldn't intentionally crack my spine. Okay, 6, back to my small town. That's an out. It sounds very much like Hallmark cliche or a contemporary novel type of situation, and I don't like contemporary very much. If it's returning to my small village and we're in a fantasy setting, that might be an in, but returning to my small town, cozy, but not for me. Out. 7, monsters are regular people. And they could be the most grotesque glob of whatever with 15 eyes. And if that's the normal person in society, then I'm okay with it. And if it's the type of monster that they appear to be human, even better. You know, like vampires or werewolves when they're not transformed, or zombies. But, I mean, you can tell they're undead. All right. 8, no paragraph breaks. That's an out. I need visual breaks for my mind to be able to process what I'm reading better. If it's all some kind of jumbled giant collection of words, I get too distracted, or my mind is more easily wandering off because I can't keep my place. So might as well just look over there at the sky instead. I need my breaks. I need different sections. 9, multi-generational sagas. I'd say out because usually when you feature multiple generations, it sounds really emotionally damaging and painful, because somewhere, I mean, the earlier generation you know is already deceased, which is sad. And then something in their life happened that was big enough to affect the later generations that we're talking about and discussing as well. And usually it's something unhappy. So I that's an out. But I don't mind if we're all in the same timeline talking about different generations. It's the jumping back and forth between different point of views, generations. Like assuming the older generations are already passed away, that's the out. This multi-generations in one timeline, that's an in. 10, rereading. That's an out for me. There's too many books in the world, and I want to read them all. I don't have time to reread, no matter how much I like the book. So thank goodness for movie adaptations, am I right? If it's short enough, I might reread it. Generally, I don't reread. That's why I only read finished series, so that I can just go at it at my own pace, and I'm not waiting for the next book to be released. If I wait too long, the book is like Control-Alt-Delete outside my left ear and down the drain, and I'd have to reread it. And because I don't like that, I just keep to the completed series. And my memory is just not the best, which is a bummer. But at least I finish series kind of quickly if I like them enough. Keeps me on top of it. All right, 11, AI. That's probably an out. I'm not much of a sci-fi person, and AI kind of, there's this like small panic deep down in my brain that says AI is going to take over the world, and that might be what's putting me off. But I did like the movie I, Robot with Will Smith before he started smacking people. So maybe, but as it is, out. 12, drop caps. That's an in. It's fancy. I like it. It reminds me, if you're learned and experienced like me, you might have thought of SpongeBob when he was writing his essay on what not to do at a stoplight, and he's just like going to town on his paper for however long it portrays, maybe an hour or 2 hours, and he's like, take some of these, some of this, yes, and then it shows us what he's done, and it's a drop cap. The T is a drop cap for the word the, and it's the fanciest the you've ever seen. It's the fanciest T you've ever seen. So of course, yes, drop caps. We've got to relive the childhood nostalgia of SpongeBob every time. Okay, 13 happy endings. In, of course. Who just wants to read for 50 hours and then be sad at the end or contemplative? I don't read for that. I read for fun. I don't want to come away moping and depressed. Happy endings in 1,000,000%. 14, plot points that only converge at the end. That's an in. Brandon Sanderson usually does a pretty good job of that. If you can keep my attention the whole time, it doesn't matter that I have to wait till the end for everything to come together, especially if it's done well. So, in. 15, detailed magic systems. In. If it's too detailed and I can't follow along, then but for the most part, in. And if it builds upon the environment and the plot and it's all woven together well, then all the better. 16 classic fantasy races. In, of course, elves, dwarves, orcs, wizards. Is that a race? I don't know. It's all good. I love it. 17, unreliable narrators. That's an out. I don't read those types of books anyway, but I can't imagine just being like, well, can I even trust this? Or, is this actually happening? Wandering and guessing like that, it doesn't sound entertaining. It sounds like torture. And if I'm trying to remember something that's kooky, it's even harder to remember it. So I don't need it. I don't need that in my life. I just want peace and fantasy and romance. And sometimes, historical fiction and sci-fi. Just occasionally. 18, evil protagonists. I am not sure if the evil protagonist turns good in. I mean, if they're reforming, trying to change their life in. If they're evil and they're proud of it and it's flaunted and it's all we talk about is doing evil, yada yada, that's an out. So, I'm not sure. I'll just say out. We'll put it like that, out. 19, the chosen one in. It can get kind of cliche and boring if done poorly because it's done often enough, but when it's done well, I don't hate it. So, in. 20, when the protagonist dies, out. All caps, out. I've read one book series where there's a trilogy. It's a dystopic sci-fi. I won't tell the name in case you've waited the 20 years since it was released before you even read it. I don't want to spoil it for you. The movies feature the opposite ending, so you might like those better if you happen to read my mind and know what I'm talking about. But I only read one book series like that where the protagonist dies or the main character dies, and I was just so disappointed. Like, what? It wasn't even like she's in a better place, wow, all these warm feelings. I need to think about this and reflect. No, it was more like, why? Why did you do that? It was so unnecessary. Are you trying to be different for no reason? Like, is writing a successful trilogy not enough that you have to do this ending nobody wants to stand out more? Ugh, no, stop. And then, but, if the protagonist dies, you think they're dead, but they're actually alive, that's okay. Or if they're somehow brought back to life, sure, okay, I'll take that. But if they're dead, out. 21, really long chapters. It's an in. It doesn't bother me too much. It's hard to find a stopping point. I think Nikki said that as well for this question. And so that's kind of bothersome, but it's not a big deal. Just read it. And 22, French Flaps. I'll show a picture of that. I had to look it up myself in case you weren't aware. It's just a soft cover book where the edges of the cover are long enough that they're folded in so that you have wings to type on your soft cover. I'll just say in. I haven't really handled them that much. I can't imagine it'd be, ruinous if I came across a book and it had some of that. So in, might as well, whatever. 23, Deckled Edges. Deckled Edges, you mean like this? Oh, look at that. Series of fortunate events. Fancy deckled edges. Can you even make it out? Just imagine it. All the edges are uneven and textured. I'll say it makes me feel like I'm a fancy person because, the texture says artiste. Or I'm reading this ancient manuscript and I happened upon it, because back in the day they didn't have straight edges on their pages. But if you're the type of person to flick through or try to find your way that way, it can get in the way and be inconvenient. So maybe that's why some people don't like it, but it doesn't bother me. It makes me feel special. So it's an N. 24, signed copies by the author. It's nice. I don't really care either way. I'll say in. I'm not going to go out of my way to buy something like that. But if I happen to get a book and I see the author's signature in there, then I'll be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Yep. 25, dog earing pages. So I'm pretty sure dog earing is illegal in Finland, as it should be. I'm just playing. That's an out, if you couldn't tell. I think marking up your book or altering it in any way intentionally is possibly sacrilege and should be avoided at all costs. And so I won't dog ear pages. But it's funny that I say that because I have this throwaway devotional. It's printed. It's not in a book devotional. I didn't buy it online. It's something my church passes out to us. So it's more of a one and done type thing, not to revisit. I do dog ear those pages. Maybe I'm a hypocrite. Oops. But if it's a book, like this, I would never do that. Never. Not my poor books. I couldn't do that to them. That's harsh. 26, chapter titles instead of numbers. It's not a big deal. It's harder for me to find where I'm at occasionally if it's just the name and not the number. It makes it harder for people who want to be organized, which is bothersome. But if I am in a rhythm and reading, a number in front of the chapter is not going to make or break the read. It'll still be a good read either way. I actually DNF'd a book that was like this, but it wasn't because of that. Okay? Don't come at me. Don't come after me. All right, so now I meant to tag other people. If you watch this and you want to answer these questions, they're not really questions. If you want to give your answers for these statements, please feel free to do so. Consider yourself tagged. Otherwise, I'm going to tag Camille from Camille's Cozy Chronicles. She's quirky. She's funny. We like fantasy. I want to get to know her better. If she feels comfortable with doing this sort of thing, I'm going to tag Victoria from Hot Cocoa and Books. She's so considerate and nice, and she's humanitarian. She values connection like me. So Victoria, you're tagged. Let's hear from you. And then Allie from What's Allie Reading? She's new to BookTube as well. She's got some books in common with me, such as Mistborn. She's on Mistborn number 2. Ooh. And she's considering reading Warbreaker, and that's another good one from Brandon Sanderson. So we've got some overlap. I'd like to hear what your thoughts on these statements or questions. And then I will tag Sammy from Sammy Reads. She just came across my channel, and I'm so happy to have interacted with her and met her, not in person, but through the comments section. So I'd love to hear what she has to say, and thank you so much for hearing me ramble. I hope you had some fun. Go ahead and put your answers down in the comments. If you don't want to make a video about it, you're still tagged. Answer, do all your things. Do all the things down below. Tell me your thoughts. Share them with us all. We can have some laughs. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.